Hi there. This webinar will be on reaching Arizona families with some Bucks information. Please put your school or organization that you are part of inside the chat. Give a huge thanks to No Kid Hungry, who created and helped out with a lot of the information that is included in this webinar and the resources and tools that we'll be going over. My name is David Robinson. I'm the Senior Community Programs Manager at Arizona Food Bank Network, and I oversee our child nutrition support work. So we can go ahead and get started. So our goals for today's webinar will be providing a general overview of SunBucks. We'll keep it pretty general, as I know there was a ADE, Department of Education, webinar the past week that went over more details of the program, the data side of things with schools. We'll review eligibility and how children can enroll into the program. So spend a lot of time on that because that's the majority of where a lot of the questions and messaging will play in. We'll discuss key messaging for this program, also what worked well in 2025. So I know so many schools did great work in how they shared out information, and I'll share some of the learnings from that, as well as new items for 2026. So again, some of those No Kid Hungry resources I'll be sharing on this webinar that will be useful for this year to get the word out. And then overall, you should have easy ways for you to help get the word out in your community. So Sunbucks at a glance. Sunbucks is a grocery benefit of $120 per qualifying child, and it's a help out for meals over the summertime when kids aren't getting the same access to school meals that they have during that school year. It'll look similar to the picture, or just like the picture on the bottom, or it may go to their existing SNAP card, formerly known as food stamps. So it may go through household SNAP EBT card. Now, most children are automatically enrolled in SunBucks, so don't need to do anything. They'll automatically get it, but then some households will need to apply. The benefits also expire 122 days, about 4 months after they're issued. And so a lot of messaging that we'll discuss will emphasize the need of ensuring that folks know about that expiration. Now, in Arizona, the program is administered by the Department of Economic Security as well as the Department of Education. So that's why you'll see two state agencies on a lot of the materials enlisted. It is operated by both. Now, last year, Sunbucks helped around 650,000 children in Arizona. So it has a huge impact. We know summer can be a time for a lot of kids because, again, they don't have that same school access. And Sunbucks is really having a great impact in meeting that gap. Now, for eligibility and enrollment basics, again, most children are automatically enrolled through other programs that they're participating in, but there are still some folks that need to apply. Now, the application closes on August 3rd for 2026. So it's important that folks know if they need to apply and apply by that deadline. There's a screener tool by the Department of Education, both in English and Spanish. And throughout this webinar, we'll really kind of emphasize this tool because that'll be where families need to go to see both if they're eligible or not eligible, as well as if they'll be receiving it automatically or if they will need to apply. And I put that QR code for the direct link there as well. So will your students need to sign up or will they get it automatically? For those getting it automatically, those will be children that attend an NSLP or a National School Lunch Program school and meets any of these following criterias. If they receive SNAP or TANF, receive Medicaid and household income at or below 185% federal poverty level. And that's when we see questions come up pretty often. Folks see that they're in Medicaid, but maybe above that income level, and so they think they should be getting some bucks, but they have to also meet that household income level of 185% of federal poverty level or below. They will receive it automatically if they are certified to receive free or reduced meals at school via an application, so school meal application, or if the child is homeless in foster care or in the migrant education program. Additionally, if a child is not attending a school that operates the National School Lunch Program, if they're between the ages of 6 and 16, meet any of the above criteria, then they would qualify for getting some bucks automatically. Now, for those that need to apply, those are for children of any age not already automatically enrolled. That also attends an NSLP school and meets the household income of at or below 185% of the federal poverty level. Now, only children attending schools offering meals through NSLP are eligible for some bucks via an application. So that is one difference between those automatically receiving it and those that need to apply. Again, there's a QR code for the screener tool. Again, we'll keep going back to that. Now, a reminder is that the alternative income form used in CP and special provision schools can no longer be used to automatically enroll children. Now, this was used 2 years ago. It was not used last year. So we don't want to do kind of a lot of messaging around this to the public. So we don't want to kind of start any confusion. But just a reminder that the alternative income form was able to be used for some bucks enrollment 2 years ago. But that continues to not be able as an application for some bucks anymore. Now, the kind of in-depth information on some bucks and some of the very specific questions you may be getting, those answers can be found on the Department of Education SumBucks webpage, and all the materials, resources that we'll be going through in this webinar. Those will all source their information from this website and all these materials. Link and reference this webpage. So if there's any questions that you're looking for that may not be able to find or very specific, now if it's specific to a child's case with some bucks, then we'll share kind of the numbers that they can reach out to for that. So that was a general overview of some bucks. Now we'll get to the real meat of this presentation, which is how you can help families understand and access some bucks. So a lot of these are the questions you may be receiving beforehand or during summer. How do I enroll my child in some bucks? Why did I get these benefits? So some may not know that they're eligible or would be getting it, and they see the letter in the mail and they're like, what are these? If they need to make any updates to their mailing address, getting support or how to use the benefits. It's important to think that you don't need to be an expert in every single question that you may receive from families, but the tools that I'll be sharing are ways to get that information or where to direct families to go with any specific questions. And there will be some questions you'll get pretty frequently, and then you'll be able to know those right away in your back pocket. But for others, we'll go through kind of where to find the answers to them. And the overall goal for outreach is that you are trusted community voices. You know the community, you know your students, you know how to get information out there and reach them. And we also want to focus on having clear and consistent messaging. So if families aren't hearing different things and being confused about the program. So overall, we want to reduce misinformation and confusion, and then we want to reach more children with benefits and increase utilization. So maybe even reaching more than that 650,000 student number, just ensuring that more benefits are utilized and can go out to those that are qualifying. Now, in non-provision schools or traditional pricing schools, so schools that have the three-tier model of paid, free, reduced price, you really want to focus your messaging on awareness. So very few kids in your school will need to apply. It makes it pretty easy, but there's still messaging that you can do, and that's on letting them know that this program is coming. It really helps families with budgeting for the summertime or knowing additional help will be on the way, especially know that summer can be more expensive without the access of the um, same access with school meals. Families may still have questions about the program, and so helping explain what it is or how to use the program, as well as the expiration date, will be a kind of a big focus, ensuring that folks know to use the benefits before they expire. So even if you're not a CEP school, or if you're in your district that's mixed CEP and non-CEP, then there's still opportunities to message on some bucks in those non-provision schools. For special provision schools or CEP schools, there will be a group of your students that will need to apply. So messaging will really focus on action. We know it can be complicated for families to understand the program. Also, towards the end of the school year, things can be a little hectic, or during summer, maybe a lot's going on. So we want to make sure messaging is kept simple. The program exists. It's easy to check your eligibility and apply if you qualify. You can help answer questions on checking eligibility, walking through pre-screener tool, and using the benefits. Now, I really want to emphasize that Free Summer Meals program and the Sunbucks work together. These are not competing programs. Families can use both. We have heard that families think, oh, I received Sunbucks, so I can't use the Free Summer Meals program, where they think they're kind of competing. But we saw a lot of success last year when schools and partners co-messaged them together, that families know that they can use both. And we know there's different benefits for both. Free summer meals program can save folks a lot of time, and meals are prepared. And so super kind of easy in that way. But we know the summer meals program is limited to two meal styles per site. And so the Sunbucks can help out with maybe a third meal in the day. And so really encourage folks and schools and partners to co-message both the Sunbucks program as well as the free summer meals program, or labeled Sun Meals under USDA. Like I mentioned, schools last year and the year before were doing a lot of really great outreach strategies to get messaging out there. So some of the best practices that we saw and a lot of success was through sending targeted email and text blasts to families who may qualify. So sending it to certain populations in your school group, and having a lot more like information and then like emails, or sharing Sunbucks information on emails combined with like summer school or other kind of program information that catches families' eyes. Having flyers directly on front office desks, saw that, which was really great. I mean, it was right at the check-in, so there's no way you would miss it. Same with like at family resource centers, just having it up and center during those the summer months and leading to summer. We saw a lot of schools put information on their website. So either the link to go to ADE's screener tool or their Sunbucks webpage, or having like a pop-up that comes up like, have you heard of Sunbucks? Do you need to apply for Sunbucks? But one kind of easy way, I know a lot of school families may go to the school's website first, because again, you're the trusted messenger for a lot of things, and they may be looking for other school resources, and they're able to kind of see Sunbucks while they're on there. We heard that some schools walk through families with the pre-screener tool and found that to be really helpful, to just kind of go through that tool, and then if they qualify, the application's right there, and then the families can do that themselves. But walking through that screener tool to know, again, if they're eligible or not eligible, or if they need to apply for benefits, or if they'll be receiving them automatically. So that may be a question or a helpful way to reach families. Timing was really important when doing outreach. And we heard last year that doing outreach early before school was out was critical and super important and just really helpful. And so I do want to be like somewhat transparent with like this program. There's a lot of kind of things on the back end and approvals for like USDA on the back end that make it so this information comes out later and like right on that stretch. But there are messaging tools that we can do right now, and I'll share some of those. But that's why some of the tools and resources I'll even share on this webinar aren't immediately available, but will be very soon as we're getting things kind of finalized and getting more information. But we definitely understand the importance of having this information before school is let out and have enough time to get approval for your communication channels. Now, midsummer was also a really important time, especially after automatic issuances went out. So, folks, families that automatically receive benefits, typically that happened towards the end of May, early June. And so, after that, messaging can be a bit more urgent. Like, have you not received some bucks benefits? Then you may need to apply if you qualify. So really stressing that if they haven't received benefits already, they need to go to a screening tool to see if they qualify and need to apply if they are thinking that they would have had it automatically or should have had it already. So really doing kind of midsummer messaging we found super impactful. Back to school is also an important time. Again, that application deadline is August 3rd, so there may not be a lot of time to apply, but it's so important to let families know, and so maybe a few more days. And then families are looking out for information from the school, so they may have not seen it before at the end of school year or during summer, but then they can see it during that back to school time. Or if you have like back to school events, we've heard folks do outreach at that time. There's also some additional messaging tactics that you can do during that back to school time, such as um, letting them know that the benefits expire after that 122 days, ensuring that they use those benefits. Because if they got it in mid-May, then 120 days is August, September time frame. So you want to make sure that they're using it. As well as there's an appeals process after the application closes. So if folks applied for benefits, didn't get them, or thought they should have them, there's a process that they can go through afterwards. And so there's some messaging strategies that folks and partners can do that. We also heard that families like to know exactly what to look for with some bucks. So the envelope is right there, and that's kind of what the information will go out at. With the Department of Education and Department of Economic Security, we're great in having this information available for families. So this is on the Department of Education Subbucks webpage. It's one of those drop downs. It has the sample letters for the different categories that folks may be. And so that way folks have like a familiarity. So it can be helpful for families to see that. And so if you know your community may be a little bit more hesitant about letters coming in the mail, their information and an agency on there, sharing this information ahead of time so they know it's coming can be helpful. Now here's where sharing the No Kid Hungry resources are being created, and some are available for sharing right now. So a huge shout out to them for what they made for us. This will be on a landing page, and so we'll share that URL at the end. And so any of these materials you want, you can go to that URL and find them there. The first will be a Sunbucks guide for partners, and this will be available in English and Spanish. This will be a great tool if there's folks folks in your school that aren't on this webinar and you want to share that with them, like front office staff, family resource center staff, parent liaisons. This guide will have information on Sunbucks and the phone numbers that families can call if they have specific issues with their cases, and a great one to just kind of spread around your agency or school. There will also be social media images and suggested captions in English and Spanish. We'll go through those in more detail, as well as templates for emails, text messaging, robocalls. There will be a family-facing flyer for special provision schools, really emphasizing the screener tool and the need to apply if you qualify, but won't receive it automatically, as well as a suggested timeline so your messages reach families when they need it the most. So we find this to be very helpful as, again, the end of the school year is crazy, hectic, very busy. And so it's nice to have kind of reminders during summer, kind of so much going on and maybe less staff. So having reminders of I should do a Sunbucks ad right now, or I should send out an email now that it's midsummer or it's back to school, have that reminder of, okay, now it's time to do Sunbucks messaging about the expiration date. So that will be provided on this landing page and as part of this toolkit as well. So that guide for partners, that will include information on understanding Sunbucks, who is eligible, who receives it automatically, and who needs to apply. Information on receiving Sunbucks, general information and instructions on how families will receive it, using Sunbucks benefits, how to activate cards, when benefits expire, and then what families should do with their cards at the end of the summer, which is keep it. So we really want a lot of emphasis on messaging around that because a lot of folks may throw out their card or lose it, but having that in a safe place is really important. So when you are talking with families, doing a reminder of that is always helpful, as well as information on troubleshooting, how to update their mailing address, or what to do if a family loses their EBT card. Now, key messaging, we have different time frames for these. Starting right now, as soon as possible, you can be messaging that Sunbucks is back for summer 2026. To visit the eligibility screener, see if they will qualify or need to apply. The Department of Education's application is already live. So if they meet the qualifications but need to apply for benefits, they can go ahead and do so. There will be more messaging around end of school. So again, benefits are coming, they're being loaded on. So to watch out for your benefits too. So that's when they can check their card, check their balances to see if they've received Sunbucks and then begin using them. And then if they haven't received it, that's when you can really emphasize that folks will need to apply if they meet the qualifications. Over the summertime, again, co-messaging Sunbucks and summer meals, working together. Really great way to eat healthy and kind of do healthy nutrition messaging around them too. For back to school, really focusing that folks are using the benefits and then the appeals process, as well as keeping the card for the following year. This is what the first page of that school staff flyer fact sheet will look like. So again, this will be one kind of easy to use that you can give out to school staff. There will be some special considerations with your outreach. There's some things to think about when going through these next family-facing materials. And that some children may face specific challenges accessing Sunbucks or seeing this information. So keeping your community needs and landscape in mind when doing this outreach. So thinking about reaching kids without a stable mailing address, families without reliable internet access. So maybe offering them to do this pre-screener coming into the school, or if there's a library, family resource center, to do that with them. Language access. I know last year there were several schools that were updating and translating the flyers into languages that they knew their communities spoke. And so doing an awesome job doing that. So there may be some translation services that are needed with this information. Other challenges specific to your community, we know each community is very different, and that's why we're really encouraging schools and community partners to share out this information instead of just like statewide or national organizations. Having more voices also really helps getting the word out. But you know your community, so there may be changes to any of these tools or resources to really reach families with this information. You know that best, then these information, these tools can be updated to do that. The pictures on the right of this slide are what the new social media graphics will look like. The categories that will be focused on are general awareness and eligibility for CP schools, finding out if they need to apply. The program purpose and connecting the dots. Sometimes it's helpful to share what is Sunbucks and more general information on the program, more than just like eligibility. Some families like to know kind of just more background and makes it more comfortable about using the program and sharing with other folks. Back to school push, mention closing out and don't forget to use your benefits, saving your Sunbucks card. Emphasize that because we hear a lot of questions are around like, I don't have my card anymore, what do I do? And the resources will point to that, who to call in order to get a new card. The appeals process after that August 3rd deadline. So more messaging around that will be available towards in the summer or after that application deadline passes. So messaging that you can do right now, as I mentioned, some of the tools and flyers are in their last stages of being finalized, but there's still messaging that we can do right now. So these are two of the templates for social media captions, but can also be used in an email. So sending this out right now around that Sunbucks is coming, families can plan for it, to find out if you're going to receive it automatically or need to apply, and find out if you qualify or not. So I thought these were really good. And Nook and Hungry did a great job at doing really like short but key and some clever messaging around it. There will also be email, text. These are templates that I mentioned, as well as like a family-facing flyer. Some bucks are back, big, bold, and print, and then the QR code for the screener tool. Some over the summer messaging. This is what the template will look like as well. Again, kind of going back to before. And then that timeline. So there will be a timeline of when to post, do different social media, use each of the social media graphics that will be provided in that toolkit. Really encourage maybe putting reminders on your calendar because again, summer and leading up to summer can be so busy, and then back to school is busy. So reminders in order to share this information is super helpful. And again, I know like as soon as possible, some of these materials aren't ready, and that's just because of, for transparency purposes, how long it takes for finding the information, knowing the information that we can share out that the program is confirmed to be happening in the state, because we know this program is not in every state. So we're really grateful for Arizona having it. I also wanted to share some additional resources. There will be an official Arizona family-facing flyer developed in a work group with state agencies and state partners that will be soon released. That'll be on Arizona Food Bank Network's website and can send a notice out once that is released. ADE also did a webinar about what you need to know about data and access to Sunbucks benefits. So that's more in-depth on Sunbucks. This webinar more on family-facing, but that would give you a really good understanding of the back end of things with Sunbucks, especially related to schools. So really encourage you, if you have not watched that webinar, to watch the recording, which I know is on ADE's website or in their network side of things as a school that you have access to. No Kid Hungry also is doing a national webinar preparing for summer EBT tools and strategies for school nutrition leaders. That'll be not Arizona specific, and we know there's some differences maybe between states, but good ones just hearing general strategies. Additionally, their FRAC did a webinar a little bit ago, and it was on schools and summer EBT as it provided examples of how schools and state agencies did outreach. And Osborne School District was there, so it was super cool to see Arizona represented and hearing what Osborne School District did to share Sunbucks information out in their community in Phoenix. And I know they did a lot of cool different strategies and going out to community centers to share flyers. So they really did a great job at sharing it. So I put the minute that they started on the slide. Encourage you watching the full thing, but if you only have a little bit of time, really check out what Osborne School District was doing. There's also summerebt.org, which is a national Sunbucks webpage with additional eligibility tools and screeners. In case you run into questions from family members that maybe they have family in a different state or they're from a different state and they want to know, so not too sure about that side of things, so you can direct them to the summerebt.org website, or if you want to check out their screener tools as well. So all of the outreach kit, all that information will be located at this URL. So it'll be No Kid Hungry's state page for Arizona. And again, that will be coming soon. Apologies that these materials aren't already ready, but again, that's kind of hard to do with this program, especially. But we heard from schools and heard the feedback that getting this information out as early as possible, getting it started in your communication channels for approval was really important. So we wanted to share kind of messaging that you can already do that and let you know of resources that are going to be available. This presentation, these slides recordings will be sent out in an initial first email. And then when those materials are finalized and available, all registrants for this webinar will receive those materials as well. And then before getting to questions and answers, just want to thank you all for your work and hearing about ways to message Sunbucks. Again, 650,000 students receiving it in Arizona is huge. That's a huge impact, and ways that we can make it easier and more comfortable for families to use and have access to healthy meals during summer is just really important. We don't want kids to face hunger during the summertime when school is out of session. We want Sunbucks to be a great resource, the summer meals program to be an additional resource that folks can use, and kids and teens don't have to be hungry and they can focus on the fun of summer and being with their friends and on break and doing different activities and not focusing on where their next meal will be. So really appreciate your help in getting the word out about Sunbucks and sharing this information. And again, we'll be in contact about the materials as soon as they're available. And I'll stop the recording to go to questions and answers. Thank you.